Welcome everyone to Live at Lunch. Here we are, we're in February, it's the 8th already, we're screaming along into 2018 and I'm delighted to have Maddie Cook with me today. She's a graphic designer and a specialist in social media, and that's everyone's been really keen to understand more. It's a moving feast, so it's great to get a bit of a track on that. So I'm going to just let you know that, yeah, you can type in the chat. We've got more people popping in, so that's fabulous. Maddie, we might get you to share your screen and be ready to present. And I'll keep back of the chat.
How is this looking?
It's looking good, and if you can just put it on presentation mode, we'll get to the...
No worries.
Awesome.
There we go.
Fantastic. Okay, so over to you, Maddie. This is going to be awesome, and please feel free to ask questions, everyone.
Yes, fire away.
Yeah.
All right, so as Vivian said, I'm Maddie. I run my own business in communication strategy, so marketing, advertising, social media, and graphic design. And today I'm hoping to share some insight and tools into social media for small business. I specialize in rural business because I think it's really important to get our rural businesses, big or small, on the equal playing fields as their city counterparts. So I'm hoping to share some stuff today that'll help you do that and reach your audience. So the topics that I really want to cover today, if I get time, I want to talk about what is social media, because so many of us are using it now, and it's important to make sure that we know what it is, know the pros and cons of it all, and know how to reach our audience. I want to talk about setting up a business page. It includes your bio, having up-to-date links, and ways that people can contact you as well. We're talking about hashtags all the time, but do we know how to use them? So we're going to start. So what is social media? So it's a series of websites or apps we use to connect and share in real time. And it's really important because I think it's not just impacting our everyday lives and how we communicate with our family and friends, but it's also impacted the way that we do business. We are integrating it into our marketing strategies now. It's a really important way to learn about how we can connect and collaborate with other businesses, as well as reaching our target audience and learning about them, learning about what they like to do and what they like to see, and learning to see if they want to find out more about your brand and what it is that they want to find out about. So I've included this, well, I think it's really interesting. I love statistics. So I think if you didn't see it on my Instagram last week, I shared that 17 million people are now active users on social media. So this is considering, I think, our population now, Viv, we talked about this morning, was 24 million. That's right. Well over half of people are using social media, and that's a massive opportunity for businesses to reach more audiences. So here are my top 5 benefits social media has for business. So if you're considering getting a social media account but you're not quite sure what to do or if it's for you, this might be of some help. So it's easily accessible and inexpensive, and it's not just inexpensive to advertise on and for your business, it's also inexpensive and easily accessible for your target audience to use. So it's most of the time it's free. And it's a free way that you can reach people who are interested in you and get your business name out there, and increase your brand recognition. It also gives you access to insights. So find out like who is interested in your brand and what are they and where are they from, and what age are they? Is it who you wanted to be gaining interest in your brand, or is it people that have come as a surprise to you. So it also gives you opportunities for new business and new clients. This is not just for business, I guess. I mean in terms of opportunity. So opportunity for collaboration, I guess, like Viv and I are doing today, and opportunity for you to connect with other like businesses to kind of form a really strong collaboration, and where you can provide services to each other as well. It's a great customer service avenue. This is really trendy this year on social media, is so automatic messaging, and you can get feedback in real time, which is really helpful instead of having to wait to do a survey or a mail out or anything like that. You can be really quick and snappy. It has targeted reach and engagement, and which can increase your website traffic, your sales, your brand recognition again. And it can also lead to, I guess, new opportunities in that people might be after a type of product that you're not currently offering that might be really great in the market. So new ideas as well. But I really wanted to mention early on that we have to treat social media with caution, care and respect. We have to respect other businesses and respect what they're doing as well. We have to remember that once content is shared on the web, we can't guarantee that it's private or forever deleted. If you have to ask yourself if you should post it or you probably shouldn't post it, is my general rule for everything like that. So I thought before we dive into the social media platforms themselves, I'll be focusing on Facebook and Instagram today because they're my favorites, and they're really trendy at the moment. I really wanted to explain a bit about the algorithm, because this affects everything we post on social media and how we reach people. So computer algorithms, so the ones that Google uses and Facebook uses and Instagram, are all functions designed to perform a particular task. So for instance, Google uses an algorithm called PageRank, and PageRank will show you different things to what you've looked at in the past. It'll look at the freshness of the content, so it'll show you something that's more relevant to you, and based on what you've based on the user experience and the website itself. So it's kind of based on what you've looked at previously, as well as the quality of the website that you're trying to find or information that you're trying to find. So how can, if algorithms are doing all sorts of things and impacting us, how can we as small businesses still reach people on Facebook? So my top tips, I guess, would be to write compelling headlines, write really interesting ways or content that is going to get people's attention straight away. I suggest avoiding promotional content. Post content that is informative, entertaining, a little bit of self-promotion, but we'll get to that a little bit later. And experiment. There's rules and guidelines for how we should post on social media, but your business is going to be different to mine. Or we can follow these guidelines to begin with, but then it's really important that we experiment and find out what suits your business and what times of posting suit your business, and what type of post too suit your business. So then I've also got put in here to control your own experience. And when I say this, I mean to let your audience know that they can also prioritize what they see first in their newsfeed. They can change that in the settings. So if they're not seeing your business content, they can go into their settings and edit edit their settings and make your business be found or come up on their newsfeed first. And I've also got interact with your followers. Social media is called social for a reason. So get social, interact, encourage them to interact with you, and answer questions. If they've got a question about your brand or where they can source your products from, make sure you answer them. and complete your profile information. So make sure that you've got a URL in there. Make sure you can answer the 5 W's, the when, what, who, where, and why in your profile information, and give them a place where they can go to find out more if they wish to. So Instagram is quite similar to Facebook in regards to engagement and relevancy, relationship, and time. It sorts the content through an algorithm using these 4 points. So, and similar to Facebook, you can write an interesting bio as well. Make sure you include links and a URL. Insta stories have also become really trendy lately, so I highly recommend having a look at them. Start to play around with it. You're not going to get it perfect the first time. I mean, I definitely didn't. I'm still working on it now, but they give us a really great opportunity to reach people in a really authentic way and be yourself and show a behind the scenes view of your business.
Yeah,
Sorry,
can I
Viv.
ask with that Insta story, sorry to interrupt, but with the Insta
No,
stories,
no.
are they like, I saw one of yours that had 2 images. Is it a series of images or is it?
Yeah. So you can do a series of images. You can also do they have boomerangs on there, which can be pretty cool. And I know you can.
What are they? Boomerangs? I'm imagining, throwing something.
Yeah.
Is it a bit like that?
So like a repetitive kind of video that loops over itself.
Ah,
It can
okay.
be really a really creative way to. Yeah. No, it's a good question. They can be a really creative way to kind of reach your audience as well and do something a little bit different. And Instagram's also just done a new update which lets you play with text and all sorts of things. So I really recommend getting into Instagram and having a bit of a look at stories and see what you can do in there.
Yeah.
Maddie, it's Kat Porter. How are you?
Oh, hi.
Just on the Instagram story, something that I found really, really useful is when you upgrade to a business profile, you can actually look at all the insights of how many people are swiping away from your story or they're liking it, how they're interacting, demographics, all that kind of stuff. So in building your Instagram following and looking at things that people like and people don't like, I think that's a really, really good tool to build your brand anyway.
Definitely. No, that's such a good point too, Kat. I'll mention Instagram insights a little later as well, but insights give us a really good insight, I suppose, into who is looking at your brand. And it can, like you're right, you can look at who's looking at your stories. You can see that as well as how often, and if you've got say 6 stories in a row, are the numbers fading out? So that could tell you that maybe post less or post content that people are wanting to know more about for longer. So it tells you lots of different things. So yeah, you can access that in your business as in your business Instagram. So the second point I had was write engaging descriptions. You're not perfect, so don't pretend to be. And if you grow something that doesn't look quite right, why don't you share that with us? I mean, it'd be really interesting to see a behind the scenes kind of look at your business and tell a story as well. If you're working on something, use stories, even Instagram stories, to show your story along the way. If you're building something, so like I don't know, if you do woodwork and you're building a table, show us how you're going to build that table and give us some insight before we see the finished product. And on your posts, write engaging descriptions and don't feel please put in if you struggled with something or you found something challenging, but also put in like how you overcame them and write a bit of a story. Post during the most active times. I will get to this at the end on when you should post on social media, but this does differ for everybody and it does differ for each business as well. So if I'm targeting farmers, I mean, use my dad for example, you go to bed earlier at night and you get up earlier in the morning. So therefore you might be on Facebook earlier in the morning. So when you're targeting a niche like farmers, you might need to rejig what time of the day you post, and it might not necessarily line up with what Facebook or Instagram recommends. So experiment. Also post, show a behind the scenes look at your business. So we kind of covered that in point 1 and 2, just to make it a little bit more engaging. And make your photos visually appealing. Don't post grainy photos. I'm not a big fan, but also try to be creative, because there's so much out there, and we've all got competitors and things like that. So make sure your photos are really visually appealing and high quality, and even try things like taking photos from a different angle to make it a little bit more interesting. So now we have we understand the algorithm, and we've got a page. We're looking at getting a page. We're going to talk about how to set up the social media page. I'm going to give you a few tips. So the biggest one I would say is don't bite off more than you can chew. You don't have to be on every social media network. Pick a couple. I would suggest a max of 3 that you can effectively manage by yourself.
And Maddie, just on that, I did ask a question earlier in the text chat what people were mostly into, and there's quite an array. So, and most people are sort of putting maybe 1 or 3. So there's Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, quite a few of those, LinkedIn, and yeah, a lot of people using Twitter for ag, or a few people have noticed that's really good, and Facebook. So yeah, there's a bit of a mix there. The main 3, I don't think I've missed any that are different. So yeah, so there's those 4 that are really coming up with those. Yeah.
No, that's fantastic. So yeah, and it's good too, because if you try to spread yourself across too many, it can become hard to manage all of them effectively and do a good job. So it's better to minimize it down, have maybe Facebook and Instagram, or Facebook, Instagram and Twitter, or LinkedIn, and try to do your business on just those. And remember, not all social media will suit your business either. If you're, say, a farmer again, you might find that Pinterest isn't quite your thing, and you're better off to find people to connect and collaborate with, as you said, on Twitter or Instagram. So if you're an egg production business, for example, Instagram and Facebook might be more effective in reaching your audience than Snapchat. And that goes the same. So again, it's that experimentation, see what works for your business and what you can manage. So write an interesting bio. Talk about the 5 W's again. Have a consistent profile as well. Make sure that what you are representing on Facebook is the same as what you're talking about on Instagram or Twitter. And put a link to your website or your blog or your Etsy shop, so people can find out a little bit more about you if they need to. When you're writing your bio, be personal and be human. And don't forget, as the little chicken says down the bottom, that the human attention span is now 8 seconds. So that means we have 8 seconds to capture audience's attention and help them decide whether they should follow you or not. So if I click on your profile and you don't have a bio, it's not very encouraging for me to scroll down and look at the rest of your photos. I like to see who has the page, or what business it is, and what their goals are, or what the purpose of that business is, and a website link is even better, so I can have a look. So make sure you look the part. I am a graphic designer, so I might be a little bit picky about this myself, but make sure you have consistent branding, all the logos and mood and feel across all of your social media networks. Having a logo as a profile image is ideal, as people can look at your brand instantly. So for example, yeah, sorry, Viv.
Oh no, sorry. There's a question in the chat. and it's from Simone, and she's saying she's a big fan of posting original content, but I'm keen to hear anyone's thoughts on retweeting, resharing, and if you think that's valuable.
Yeah, definitely. So talking on Twitter, I keep repeating this word collaboration. And if you're retweeting or repurposing anyone's content, always thank them for their content and give them credit for it. But it's great to kind of interact with people, let them know that they're doing great on social media enough that you feel like you can communicate. You want to reshare their stuff. So that's, I guess it's flattering really if someone wants to share your stuff as well. But yeah, I recommend it as long as you give credit to where it originally came from. Yeah. So with branding, so if you say, for instance, I bought the Grazier magazine, for example, which I do this, so, and you're looking through the ads and you see an ad or you see a product that you just really love. So make sure that when I go on your Facebook page to check your products out, that your Facebook page matches your print ad. Make sure everything's consistent. So as soon as I get to your Facebook page, that I know it's you, and then I can then follow on to a link to your website and purchase the product, rather than me having to try to find the right Facebook page and make sure that it is, and like spending a lot more time finding you rather than looking on your website to purchase your products or services. And back it up. So if I guess if you're a blogger, make sure that you share your blog you have it backed up on your desktop computer, laptop, smartphone or something, and your own website before you share it onto social media. Don't share stuff onto social media unless you have it backed up, because we never know what might happen and we don't want to lose all of our content. Social media is a really good business asset, but it's one that needs to be taken carefully, I suppose. Yeah, so make sure that you've got everything backed up so we don't want to lose anything. So now I have a page. What do I post? So make sure you do quality, not quantity. Don't post just because. I hear a lot of people saying, oh, but Facebook tells me that I have to post once a day to reach my audience. Again, this is experimentation. You might find that that works for you, but it's not necessarily for every business, especially every small business. So there's nothing worse than seeing something on Facebook that says, oh, I have to post something so on my socials today, so here's a photo of my cat. if nothing in their business relates to a cat, and I do see this a fair bit, make the content that you're posting unique to you, and be authentic. No one in the world can do a better job at being you than you, and this is a really good way to stand out from your competitors as well, because no other business is you, I guess. They're not reflective of you and your business and your values. Sorry. Okay, this one is one of my favorite rules for social media, and when I found it a couple of years ago, I thought it was gold. So content on social media should always be useful or entertaining. And I'm going to introduce you to the 80-20 rule. So 80% of your social media content should be interesting, insightful, useful, educational, or entertaining. This leaves 20%, which should be self-promotion. So for instance, if you're posting 7 days a week and that works well for your business, one of those days should be self-promotion, and the rest of the posts for the rest of the week should be interesting or insightful or educational or entertaining. So I hope that makes sense, but feel free to put any comments to that in the chat and I'll try to answer them as best I can. So you don't just have to share content about your brand either. Share content about your industry. So the example that I've got here is if you sell babies' clothes that are made from 100% Aussie wool, you might also share interesting facts about the Aussie wool industry, or how wool is produced in Australia, or where you even get your wool from, and the process behind actually making your garments. one of the other points that I really wanted to bring up today was to listen to your followers. Look at the posts that have more likes and see if there's a common thread or a trend. If there's also nothing wrong with asking your followers, if you're a new business and you're new to social media, why not ask your followers what they want to know? Ask them what they want to find out about your product or your service. And there's nothing wrong with that, because at least then you know that you're providing them with the content that they've asked to see. Always ask your followers too if they'd like more information about something. I noticed in Instagram stories again, you can do a poll now, which is really helpful. I think before Christmas, I put a poll out asking people what coloured envelopes they'd prefer. So I'm a terrible decision maker. So it's almost like other people are helping me make the decision for me. So it's really good to put that kind of stuff out there as well, and ask people what they want to see and get them involved in your product.
I think that's bringing back the human side too there, Maddie.
Definitely. Be authentic. Yeah. You are everybody's human. And I feel like this is important. So reread your posts and check for errors. Or you can also install a grammar checker like Grammarly, which I do use on my laptop. And it's super helpful, especially when we're creating content so fast now, and sometimes we don't feel like we have the time to go back and do a really lengthy read of it, and to make sure it all makes sense. So something like this can make our job quicker and more effective as well. So it's about working smarter, I guess, and not harder. So this is ties in with the changes that Facebook made to its algorithm at the end of last year. So now they're kind of talking about how they want people going to be spending less time on Facebook, but the time they do spend on Facebook is going to be more valuable. So Facebook would much prefer person-to-person contact rather than person-to-business contact, which can make it a little bit hard. So when you're posting on social media, don't use engagement bait. So this is things like, I'm sure you see it a little bit as well, like tag your bestie if she loves these boots, or like to agree, comment to disagree, or share with 10 friends, or tag X person for doing this. Facebook really doesn't like this content anymore, as it isn't meaningful content. So it detects pages that use it, that use this method, and these posts will be shown less in the newsfeed. So you can, it's good to align your business with something that you care about, a not-for-profit or a cause or a charity or something like that. But don't talk about politics too often unless people expect to see political content if you're a political page. Really interesting stat too, a social media examiner study in 2017 found that 71% of people found it annoying to see brands talking politics on social media. So that's really interesting. But then I also wanted to include this this table, which gives us a bit of an overview. It was done by Sprout Social, and they're really good to follow if you don't already. So it kind of talks us through what people like to see on social media and what people are finding annoying. So if you're making fun of customers, which obviously doesn't go down very well, people do find that annoying. But if you're using video and interacting and responding to people, that's really successful and cool on social media. So hashtags, the humble hashtag. So I feel like the easiest way to explain a hashtag is to kind of just describe it like a filing cabinet. So we use categories in a filing cabinet to organize information and documents. So hashtags are also a way of categorizing information and content on social media. So since their inception, fun fact, hashtags have been added to the Oxford Dictionary in the same year as the term social media and LMAO. Scrabble have also added it to the official Scrabble Players Dictionary as well. So it is officially a word now and a thing. So hashtags are also what make your content discoverable through a common theme or interest. It gives you the opportunity to expose your business to large audiences and therefore increase engagement. So you might be wondering by now, well, how can I find hashtags that work? So I really recommend checking out what hashtags people in your network are using. So if you're a Aussie farmer, have a look and see what people that you really like to follow are doing on social media, and take a look at what hashtags you used on previous posts that were successful as well. And also there's a new thing I know you might have heard about. You can now follow hashtags on Instagram. So you can do this by typing a word that is relevant to your brand into Instagram and selecting the tags tab. If you need help with this, feel free to contact me. This will give you a list of hashtags that are related to your search word with the number of hashtags, the number of times that this hashtag has been used. I would suggest using a combination of hashtags. So use ones that have been used a fair bit and ones that are quite niche. So for instance, Throwback Thursday has been used millions and millions of times. So that might be good to use if you want to engage with Throwback Thursday or a trend hashtag. But something else like rural Victoria, I think that's only been used a couple of thousand times. So the benefit to using both is that if you're using one that has been used a lot, your content might get buried in lots of hashtags when people search it. But if you're using one that hasn't been used a lot, like rural Victoria, it's a niche hashtag, so when people search it, there's not as much content that they have to sift through till they find your content. So how do you use them? So you've got what you want to, you've got the hashtags you want to use, but how many and which ones should I use the most? So be specific and relevant. Don't use hashtags that are specific to your target audience. If you are a butcher, I probably wouldn't recommend hashtagging a vegan or a vegetarian because you might get some unwanted feedback. Accommodate hashtags to the social media platform that you are using. We'll talk a little bit more about this, but this includes things like how many hashtags should you post? Does it differ from network to network? And don't use too many hashtags, and we'll cover this also. If you use too many hashtags, especially more than the amount of words in your description, it can get quite overpowering and you won't end up reaching the people that you want to reach. So make sure that you check that your hashtag means what you think it means. I've seen so often where businesses, or big and small, have used hashtags that mean inappropriate things when they're clicked on and might link to inappropriate things on Twitter or Instagram. So just double check before you use a hashtag that it hasn't been used previously for a campaign or something that doesn't align with your business. But it's, yeah, make sure, just check. So, and avoid using hashtags like follow me, follow for a follow, like for a like, those kind of things, as it attracts spam, and we don't like spam. So a lot of people ask me, well, how many hashtags should I use then? So Facebook recommends 1 to 3, and in Facebook I would recommend putting them at the bottom of your description where they're out of sight. If you choose to use them at all. They are a good way to connect to people on Facebook, although they haven't become as trendy on Facebook as they have on things like Twitter and Instagram. And so Instagram, we can put 11 or less. I would suggest around 8 is a good number, depending on your post and who you're reaching. Anything over 11 gets a bit spammy as well. So what time should you post on social media? So I would recommend experimenting again to see what works best for you, as I said before in the farmer example. They recommend that the best time to post on Facebook is between 12 and 3 on Wednesdays, Thursdays, Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays. So this is around midday, but your brand, so For my business, I find it more effective to post late afternoon, but it just depends. So understand your target audience and see what they would like when they're most online. And Instagram is 1 to 2 p.m. on Monday to Friday. This also depends. So Instagram might be a little bit different for you. You might like to get up of a morning and get it out of the way if your followers are online at that stage. Or you might like to do it of an afternoon or schedule it for a time that suits your followers as well. So I think that brings me to the end, and I've probably gone over time, but I was trying to rush through it as quick as I could. So my big takeaway is that if you have anything to think about this afternoon, I really want you to consider these. So be consistent with design, be consistent with language, mood and themes. And the design obviously includes your logo and branding, and share consistent links as well. Make sure that your links are updated to your website or whatever you currently have going on, or an event or something. Be authentic, and be real, and be meaningful. You don't have to be perfect. Your content does not have to be polished. And share a story. Show people what you do day to day. If you have cattle, don't just show them at the shows. Show them what they look like in the paddock, and show them what you do when you're in the cattle yards with them. Be social. Social media is called social media for a reason. Interact with your audience, answer their questions, find out more about them. And there's so many people that we don't know about, so there's no harm in asking. And lastly, be experimental. This is probably my biggest one for today. There's no blanket rule for all businesses on social media. Experiment, get to know your audience, get to know what they find interesting and what they don't, and ask your followers what they would like to see and listen to their response. So if you have any questions about that dump of information, please feel free to ask or get in touch with me afterwards, or Vivian.
Oh, fantastic. Now, Maddie, there's been lots and lots of discussion in the chat, and
Okay.
I'm tempted to answer a lot, and some of it was good because I'd seen your presentation before and I said, oh, that question, the answer's coming. So you were able to answer stuff for Charmaine and Linda there. Now, I think I might, Kat, do you want to take the mic and ask your question that you had earlier about, was it with Instagram? You're welcome to take the mic.
Hello, is that working?
It sure is. Yeah. Go ahead.
Oh, perfect. Maddie, I just had a question in regards to with Instagram. So I am really crap at doing but my 9, if you look at like your 9 panes that you have on Instagram. So I've looked at a lot of Instagrams, looking at flow and how they run, and, you know, having a lot of white and different things, because I run a candle business. That's sort of my look that I'm going for. Now, the only problem I have is, though, when I speak to my followers, customers, they all say, oh, you've got a really fab Instagram, because they're looking at just singular photos coming through their newsfeed rather than looking at the page as a whole, if that makes sense. So my question to you is, what do you think is more important, having you know, relevant individual photos that may not like mesh together in a 9-pane, like what you see on the page, or having a page that's more succinct with images that flow better together? That's my question.
Okay, so do you mean when I look at your Instagram page, everything matches?
Yeah, so like as in like using like similar colors, and like the images just look like they all flow, like it's not just like bang, 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 like it looks like there's just a heap of crap on a page. If that, I don't even know if that makes sense, but hopefully it does.
So my biggest thing for businesses on social media is, especially your social media page is a way to engage and provide customers or your target audience or whoever with information about your business. I mean, that's what you're there for. So I think my number one thing would be, as long as you're providing the information that people are after, that's a benefit in itself. It is lovely when you go onto a Facebook page and everything matches. But it can be quite hard and it can be restricting. and it can be more time. If you're trying to stick to those colors, it'll look beautiful, but if you're spending a considerable amount of time making images.
That's what I mean. I feel like I'm too time poor to be able to do that unless, it's like, it's a lot of time to get it to that point.
It is.
So
It is.
I suppose if the stuff's relevant and people are seeing your content coming through, like with the hashtags and building that following, maybe that's more important.
Yeah, that is more important. And it's nice to, my tip would be to widen your branding on social media. So obviously my branding is the blue, and it's blue and grey and white, and it's all very simple and clean. But you look on my Instagram and it's not like that. And but I guess my consistency and my branding comes through every now and then. I don't know if you've looked at my Instagram or not, but I'll share something using just the text that I use, so my font, and that links back in with my brand. Over a stock photo or something like that. So if you're consistent with what you're doing on social media, I think that will bring it together as a whole. If someone's scrolling through your page anyway, without having to link all the colors and everything. So pull bits from your branding through your Instagram, and it should all link together.
Fabulous. Thank you. That's great.
Awesome. Thank you for your question.
Great, thanks, Kat. Maddie, Simone's got a question about boosting and promoting. Is it worth spending, or your thoughts on spending money on that boosting and promoting?
Yeah, no worries. So my goal is always, I know a lot of small businesses, we are time poor, and we might not have massive advertising budgets to spend. So I think organic reach is really effective. But the best way to do this is to interact with people, and especially so on Instagram again, for example, if you're commenting and liking other people's things and being supportive for other businesses, as well as your clients on social media, I think this is a really great organic way to reach the amount of people. If you want to reach thousands of people, I do suggest doing a promoted post, maybe once every blue moon, once every now and then. But you don't need to spend $100. Sometimes I often do posts. I might say do a post for $20 over 14 days. I wouldn't recommend doing one less than 14 days because it takes Facebook and Instagram's owned by Facebook, a while to sort out your target audience and who you want to reach. So I would give the social media platforms just that 14 days or over 7 days at least to kind of sort out who you want to reach, because it'll get more bang for your buck. But yes, so it's $20, no more. I round that, but not 100. I hope that answers your question.
Great. And I think too, this is a good opportunity too to say Maddie's actually thinking about putting together a course on social media, and so she's going to be asking that question to the broader community of who's interested, to see if she's going to take it off and be a paid course. Still the idea that it's a pilot. So we're curious as to whether people would be interested in that. You might share in the text chat if you consider doing a paid course, and we're talking about doing, live as well as, other resources. But we'd love to hear if you're interested. And I've put Maddie's web address there too, and she'll probably put a survey on that site at some stage.
Yeah, so definitely I will be getting expressions of interest through my website. But if you are interested and you want to stay in the loop, please don't hesitate to email me or follow me on social media, or even message me on social media, and we can have a chat, and I take note, and when it is, or if I do it, I'll let you know and keep you in the loop.
Fantastic. So I've put the website on there, and your email would be on that website. Look up Maddie Cook on Instagram is big. And I'll share that information too in the mail out. So you're all registered to my campaign program. So I'll put that information and follow up with that as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Fantastic.
so much to learn and so little time. We've gone way over.
Yes, I'm sorry about that.
No, that's fine. Look, it's just. I mean, people were asking so many questions, so it's really handy to have that and share it. So great. So live at lunch next week, I have Jeanette McPetrie presenting, and so you'll have an automated mail out for that. Look at live events. I'm just going to grab the link so that you can get a bit of an overview. If any of you are interested in being a presenter and want support, I'm open to discussion to see whether it'll fit. So yeah, love to hear from you. Jeanette who's speaking next week, is actually, I might share my screen very quickly and come to where we are. So Jeanette's actually really keen to chat with you beforehand. So if anyone's interested, so her focus is about, and it's quite a different topic. It's about words matter, feelings matter, you matter. And it's about that self-sabotaging and how to stop. So Jeanette's been on a fantastic journey and learning about that, to stop that self-sabotaging and truly connect with herself. She's so passionate about what she can share. And we've actually got her phone number and email link on that page from the events page. So she'd be happy to chat beforehand and get a bit of a feel and connection. Because with all our presenters, we are really looking at, I'm going to stop sharing that, is people are new to webinars and live events, and this is a great way to connect